Hey friends, welcome to Sabbath School Daily. We have been studying from this lesson right here, 3 Cosmic Messages. This week we've studied from lesson number 5, which has the title, The Good News of the Judgment, and today is Final Thought Friday, where we come together to sum up the lesson, close it together so that we can move on to our next lesson. And today's lesson brings us a very beautiful quote from the book Testimonies for the Church, Volume 5, page 473 to 474. Now, it's a little bit longer, but it's such a deep quote with such interesting details that I really want to go through it with you and then comment a little bit on it. This is what it says. Their only hope is in the mercy of God. Their only defense will be prayer. As Joshua was pleading before the angel, so the remnant church, with brokenness of heart and earnest faith, will plead for pardon and deliverance through Jesus, their advocate. They are fully conscious of their sinfulness or of the sinfulness of their lives. They see their weakness and unworthiness, and as they look upon themselves, they are ready to despair. The tempter stands to accuse them, as he stood by to resist Joshua. He points to their filthy garments, their defective characters. He presents their weakness and folly, their sins of ingratitude, their unlikeness to Christ, which has dishonored their Redeemer. The people of God have been in many respects very faulty. Satan has an accurate knowledge of the sins which he has tempted them to commit, and he presents these in the most exaggerated light, declaring, "Will God banish me and my angels from his presence, and yet reward those who have been guilty of the same sins? Thou canst not do this, O Lord, in justice. Thy throne will not stand in righteousness and judgment. Justice demands that sentence be pronounced against them. But while the followers of Christ have sinned, they have not given themselves to the control of evil. They have put away their sins and have sought the Lord in humility and contrition, and the divine advocate pleads in their behalf. He who has been most abused by their ingratitude, who knows their sin and also their repentance, declares, 'The Lord rebuke thee, O Satan. I gave my life for these souls. They are graven upon the palms of my hands.'" This is such a deep, such a beautiful quote, and it reveals what is happening behind the scenes. You know, one of the things that really impacted me in this week's lesson was when in Revelation chapter 5, we see John in heaven, and there's a scroll that's written inside and out, and it's sealed, and no one can open it. No one can read the scroll. Now, the imagery, the symbology comes from the enthronization of an Israelite king. Now, here in the United States, I don't know how it is if you're perhaps watching this from another country, but in the United States, when a president is going to be induced, right, or he's going to be, I forgot the word, but when he's going to take charge, right, he's going to be introduced as president, inaugurated as president. I think that's the word. The president will, a Bible will be held to the president, and he will put his hand on the Bible, swearing an oath of faithfulness and loyalty to the American people. And that's what inaugurates him as the American president. You see, in the Old Testament times, that's how it would happen. It would be similar. But what they would use instead of the Bible was a scroll, the scroll of the law, the Torah, right? The first 5 books of the Bible. And so the king, he would take the scroll and he would open it, and that would inaugurate him as king of Israel. And so that's what's going on, right? There in Revelation, John sees this scene where it seems like an enthronization, but the problem is that there's no one there to take the scroll. And what that implies is that there is no king. There's no king. The universe seems to be left to drift. There's no king, no one there who can open the scroll, no one who is worthy to open the scroll. There is no king. The universe is left to its own course. But you see, John doesn't have to be afraid. John didn't have to fear. He didn't have to cry, because someone was found that was worthy. And in the wording, in the imagery of Revelation, someone tells him, "Don't worry, because the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the one who overcomes, he is worthy." And John looks around, he's looking for a lion, majestic, powerful creature. And what he sees is a lamb that was slain. And so what you really have here is this duality, this combination of the power, the might, the authority of God and the sacrifice, the atonement of God, his substitution for the human family. And so John can finally, with all of heaven, sing out in praise, wonderful, marvelous, glorious, praise be to the Lord our God. That is what's described there in Revelation chapter 5. And that's why, friends, we don't have to be afraid. We don't have to weep. We don't have to be terrified, because Jesus is worthy. And that is the good news of the judgment. I hope that this week's lesson truly inspired you. I know that it did that for me. It spoke to me. Every time we contemplate God's character, who he is, what he does for us, something changes within us. And although we do go through our day-to-day, and like the lesson said, we do fall, and we are fallible beings, and we are sinful beings, we can come back. We can, with Jesus, partake in saying, "The Lord rebuke you, Satan." Jesus has died for us. Jesus has substituted for us, and our names are engraved in his hands. May the Lord bless you. Please remember to like, to share, and to subscribe to these videos. We release one every day, and we hope to see you again here tomorrow for another study of Sabbath School Daily.